guy next to me.
Mhm.
I could tell Rook he was lonely, bro. Like truly, profoundly alone and surrounded by all these people. And these, those guys be trying to make conversations and
Hey
trying real
man,
hard.
I've been there. And you said you didn't talk to him, right? Something
I
like that.
didn't. I didn't, man. And and
Yeah.
shame on me, bro. I should have said all I had to do was just, I could talk to anybody, Rook.
No, I know that. Yeah. I can empathize with that guy. You don't know what happened to him. It could be, a lot more than just he's just a lonely guy in general. You know what I mean? Could be he lost somebody recently, someone close to him. Could have been death. Could have just been, something that a lot of people think, oh, it's just a breakup. But, when your heart's broken or something like that, I mean, I can empathize. I mean, I remember back, it was like 2012, I was in Georgetown over in DC area. And I had lost somebody, just totally unexpected. And I went into a bar and I was that guy. I was just sitting there. I was lonely. And the reason I was there is to be surrounded by people to try to feel, kind of human, like that I wasn't completely alone. But I tell you what, I was just as lonely sitting in a bar full of people. It was Halloween. It was right around that time. And as I would have been if I went back to my hotel room, sat there by myself. It's just the depths of it is it hollows you out, and it took me a long time to recover from what happened, years.
Yeah.
But I used that to hone who I am. I really looked into myself because really, what else can you look at when you're that lonely? And eventually, you get to a point where um, it becomes solitude. It's not loneliness. You ever seen that
Yes.
movie Heat?
Yes.
There's a scene where Robert De Niro, I forgot the name of his character, but there's a scene where he's uh, on the balcony overlooking LA with that girl. And she asks him, are you lonely? And he sits there and he thinks, takes a drink. He says, I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. That it takes a long time to get to that point where you can
Yeah.
be comfortable with it. But you got to hone who you are. A lot of these younger people that are like the statistics you were reading off. I mean, one thing we didn't have that they unfortunately are blasted with day after day is social media. And there's really not much, there's nothing more vacuous than that, in my opinion.
Facts.
It's you're going to see the best parts of everybody's life on social media, whether it's Facebook with the 50, 60-year-olds, or it's Instagram with the 30 somethings, or it's TikToks, with the teens in the 50, 60-year-olds. But the
Facts.
thing is you're going to keep seeing all this greatness out there, and then you're going to start thinking, shit, what am I doing? And then you're going to start trying to portray yourself to be something more than, you're basically going to feed into the same machine. And the whole time you're empty and you're empty and you're empty. And that's why you see a lot of these influencers burning out, you know, because they're not being real with who they are. I had a friend that, that was, I don't know if I should say his name. He was the first black guy that was model for Tommy Hilfiger. He was a good friend of mine since high school.
Okay.
And he jumped off the Pasadena Bridge, killed himself at 40 years old. So,
And that was
and I always
because
thought, this guy, yeah, go ahead.
he thought he was less than because
I mean, his name's Sam Sarpong. You can look him up. And, this guy had it all going for him. That's what it looked like. He had everything going for him on the surface. That's what we thought. So I remember seeing him and he seemed like he's pretty, kind of down, but he's hiding it. But how you could just sense something like that, like you did.
yeah.
You just know. They don't need to say anything. They don't need to look at you. You just have a sixth sense for it. If you've had the experience with loneliness, you don't need someone to explain it to you. You could just see it in another man or a woman. And I saw it in him, but I just thought, you know what? He's got too much going for him. It can't be that serious. And he's gone now. You know,
Mm.
it's loneliness hits everybody from the top down. If it, everybody is human.
Yep.
And the thing, like I said, what I was typing, you know, while I'm lit up right now, is that genuine conversation with no walls up is really lacking right now in society. People don't get there unless they are lit up or something, you know, and then they're with the right people, obviously, you know what I mean? And that's why I jumped on, because I was like, this is deep conversation. This is good stuff. You know, not a lot of people are on right now, but people be getting on to watch the recording or something. Maybe they can get something out of this. But loneliness isn't, it's something everyone's going to experience, but it don't have to take it as a bad thing. You can take it as an opportunity to get to know who you are, because there's one person you can't get away from, no matter how hard you try, and it's you.
Yep.
So if you take that opportunity to accept the loneliness for what it is, and you fill it with whatever it is that you need to fill it with. For me, it was nature, traveling, books, that kind of stuff.
Zip zip.
Yeah, I wasn't lonely for that one. And that's a pay-per-view or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Those, I forgot. It starts with a P anyway. But so, but then you actually become a better human being when you get out on the other end, and you will get to the other end as long as you don't give up on yourself. And I know people. I mean, I have family members. My uncle committed suicide, so I'm very familiar with it. You know, and if you can get through it, and I had my other uncle try to commit suicide and it didn't work, but because it didn't work, he actually pulled through and he's a better man now. Not because he tried to kill himself, but because it brought him to that point. You know, I
He had
personally
to
think,
face that. Whatever it was, he
Mhm.
had to face it because he failed.
Right. I don't want anyone to ever have to hit rock bottom. But if there's one thing I've known from experience, not just with myself, but seeing it with you know, my homies and stuff over the decades. You know, I'm 49 years old now, and that is that loneliness doesn't have to be the end of all. It's going to happen, and I don't want anyone to have to hit rock bottom. But some of us old dogs need to hit rock bottom to change. You know I was one of them. There's no way I would change who I used to be in my teens and 20s. You know who that was. You
Yes,
do.
sir. Yes, sir.
But if I didn't hit rock bottom, I wouldn't be, you know, where I'm at today. You know,
Would you
and
say? Would you say
not that
that?
I'm saying that has to be, but some of us old dogs need that. Unfortunately, like me, I'm only speaking for myself. Uh, but I can. But what my point is that if anyone's feeling that lonely, where they're to the point where they want to just end it all, uh, think twice about that, because you're, I think, at a golden opportunity to become something greater.